In today's video, we are jumping back into the Fisk superhero mod to check out a new and updated hero pack, with classic comic book heroes and villains, as well as some of the best Spider-Man suits I've seen yet. So let's just jump straight into it. Alright, and we are back with some more Fisk heroes. And despite checking out nearly every single hero pack that this mod has to offer, I can guarantee that by the end of this video, you would have seen some abilities that you have definitely never seen before. So let's go ahead and start with the poster child for this video, and that is Scarlet Spider behind me right there. And when I first downloaded this pack, I thought that this is just going to be like, you know, the classic regular Spidey with all the same abilities, but yeah, let me assure you that that is definitely not the case with this one. And you'll definitely recognize this Spider-Man if you're a big comic book fan, or even seen them in the Spider-Verse films. So let's go ahead and throw this on. And if you're quite familiar with the Fisk superhero mod, especially with the Spidey suits, you know that we get the classic web shooters, so we have like this one right here. We also have the impact web, the rapid web, and finally, we do have the ricochet webs as well. And like I said at the beginning, that is pretty much all I expected when it came to this suit, you know, just a reskin, but yeah. But you can see right there on the ability list that we do get the sweep kick, which if I go ahead and actually place down some volunteers, and you might actually realize a really cool detail when we're around these guys, and that is right there. We actually get our very own spider sense, I think pretty much whenever we're actually near like villages or anything like that. But if I was to actually go in the middle of these guys right here and then press the sweep kick ability, like, check that out. Look at that. We get like a full-on takedown. And yet the Spidey sense will continue to go off whenever there's actually danger around, which in this case, I'm pretty sure is us. With being a variant of Spider-Man, we also get the infamous slow motion vision, which you can see is fully toggled, so we don't actually have to hold this down or anything. So you can get some really cool like action shots of flips and stuff like that, as you can see, as well as some really cool slow motion attacks, just like the one that I showed off right there. And one thing I will say about this hero pack is that they do not shy with the detail. So we can even take our mask off right there. The hood actually stays on us. It looks super cool, all being 3D. And we can go ahead and throw that back on whenever we want to. And by actually taking the mask off, none of the abilities sort of switch off. So you can basically use this maskless or with the mask, completely your choice on what you want to roll with. But if we go ahead and actually press shift right here, we can unlock 2 more new abilities that I don't think that I've actually ever seen before. And once again, we are definitely going to need some more volunteers for this, which starting off with the spectacular spin right there at the bottom. Go ahead and hold that. Like, look how sick this animation is. Like, look at that. Literally just took out like 7 people just like that. Which then brings us to the next ability, which is the spider kick. And for this one, all you need to do is actually be sprinting, give that a press, and then give it a jump. And look at that. We just do a crazy leap towards one of the villagers right there. Like, check this out. Like, look at that. That is insane. But it really doesn't end there when it comes to these Spidey suits. Because if we go ahead and hold shift, we'll end up doing this really sick Spider-Man pose, as you see there. And then we have this little bar at the bottom that will actually fill up. And what this bar will actually do is allow you to have like a jump and boost start just like that. So you can go right into swinging around, which is going to be a lot different to how we usually do it, where you just sort of launch yourself off with the web zip. So here you go right here. The bar goes up. All we need to do is just press space. And there we go. We can basically just get our launch straight away. Look at that. That is so much more convenient. And yeah, as you can imagine, this also comes in an absolute ton of different varieties, just like the classic last Stand Spidey suit, which we'll go over later in the video. But on top of that, we also get the PS5 version. We get our very own version of Spider-Gwen, and even the black suit Raimi Spider-Man as well. Which, yeah, that one definitely has a few little bonus features, but I'll let you guys have fun with that. So let me stop yapping and fangirling over the Scarlet Spider right there, and let's move on to Harley Quinn right here. And again, there are actually variations with this costume. You can actually get like the film version right here with like the jacket or without the jacket, but the classic comic book Harley Quinn right here does come with a lot of really cool abilities. So let's chuck this on. And so compared to the first suit that we actually checked out, this one doesn't have too many abilities, but they are still very cool. Which the first ability is actually a passive and doesn't show up on the list, and that is if we go ahead and start sprinting, we basically start rollerblading all around just like that. But yeah, it'd be absolutely terrifying to be chased by somebody doing this. Like, that is kind of horrific. So going over the first listed ability is the acrobatic kick, which unlike Spider-Man, you can actually do it when you're just standing still. So if we go ahead and press that, it's almost like an overhead sort of butterfly kick right there. And yeah, definitely not going to be the most powerful thing in the world, since, you know, it is just Harley Quinn and not Spider-Man all the way over there. But in combination with the roller skates, you can get some pretty good tricks going, which then brings us on to Harley Quinn's equipment, which if you know the character, you know that one of Harley's main weapons is the giant mallet right here. And this thing is absolutely ginormous, as you can see right there. Like, look at this thing. And yeah, just like the butterfly kick, this is going to be pretty damaging, pretty much a 2-hit to anything. But once we actually have this giant mallet equipped, we also have 2 more abilities. The first one being slam, which looks a little something like this. We do like a wind up, And there we go right there. And we actually leave them with some sort of particle effect. I'm not too sure what that is, but probably nothing good considering you're being hit by a giant hammer. And then we also get Mad Love as well, which I'm pretty sure is, yeah, you just start absolutely going nuts and tornadoing with this thing. And this is pretty much Harley Quinn's like most damaging ability, I would say. And you can see that it does have a pretty decent cooldown as well, so you can't keep it going forever. And finish it off with a slam. There we go. Look at that. But as Harley Quinn, we also get access to a pop gun as well, which we can simply hold out. You can see that we actually have like a heart-shaped reticle right there. And again, simply hold this up, give it a right click. And there you go right there. So it's going to push back pretty much anybody that's near you, as well as giving them some sort of effect. And every time you actually use this, you can hear Harley Quinn's laugh. Check this out. Very, very cool detail. And yeah, on top of that, seeing a classic comic book Harley is just a breath of fresh air. Like, it's so cool to see this character. Which then brings us over to another classic DC villain right here, and that is Hush. Which I will say that after reading the comic, it is actually a really, really good read. So if you are into comic books, definitely give this one a read if you haven't already. And you can see right here that just like the character, we do have like the giant trench coat and the face all in bandages. Really, really cool design. So let's go ahead and grab that. And when we do actually have the suit on, you can go ahead and press right shift, and that will actually sort of take off the bandages right here. But yeah, I won't actually spoil the story for you because it is a really, really cool comic. But yeah, if you know, you definitely know. So let's go ahead and throw the mask back on just like that. And we can get into some of the abilities that Hush has. The first one being Disguise, which is going to act very similar to a Batman smoke bomb if you go ahead and press that. But as soon as we walk out of this, we are going to basically be in our civilian clothing, as you see. And it's a really, really cool change. Almost looks a little bit like Clark Kent, but you know, definitely not. And this disguise ability actually has a little bit of a cooldown. It does go down pretty damn quick. So if you're trying to fool somebody or anything like that, you've got to be very quick about it, because as soon as that timer does run out, you are going to get another puff of smoke. And then out of the mist comes the classic Hush right here. So yeah, a really, really cool nod to the comics there. But with Hush being Hush, we also get our hands on the dual Desert Eagles, which, as you can imagine, are going to work pretty much the exact same way as they always do with different characters like Deadpool and stuff like that. And just like the Deadpool guns, they are going to be pretty damn deadly to anybody that faces them, and also extremely loud. But yeah, apart from those two abilities right there, that is going to be the Hush suit. Really, really cool and awesome to see in these hero packs. Like, it's such a cool, unique character. But yeah, just like I said before, if you know, you definitely know. Which is where we continue further on down the line, and then we have another absolute classic comic, this time from Marvel, and it is Hawkeye. Complete in his comic book look right here, even with like the little like pointy ears right there, as you see, and rocking the classic blue and purple as we see here. And since Hawkeye isn't exactly the most, you know, superhuman superhero, the only abilities that you are going to get is when you're sprinting and you go ahead and get the slide, which looks just like this, which, yeah, I'm absolutely terrible at using. Just like that. Nope. Okay, I'm starting to think that this doesn't actually do any damage whatsoever. Like, I'm flying right into these dudes, so maybe it's just like a parkour thing. And on the topic of parkour, we also get some really cool running animations and some flips as well, and even a backwards leap to finish it off with, which you simply press, and then any direction that you actually sort of sprint jump in, you are going to end up flying backwards just like that, and even a superhero landing like you saw to finish it off. So when it comes to Hawkeye, obviously the one piece of equipment that we actually need is a compound bow and a quiver that's filled with arrows. And I'm pretty sure that these bows right here are actually built into the normal like Fisk mod. But one of the really cool additions with this is that if we actually scroll off, we actually get the same color quiver as the outfit. Look at that. And this is where we get a whole bunch more abilities. So for example, we can actually go ahead and just shoot them normally with a bow. Really sick sound effects and everything. We can cycle which arrow we want to do. So say we want to fire charge one, go ahead and aim for this villager and even put our bow horizontal, just like that. Or maybe we want to use a sonic arrow, in which case we hold down B. Just like that. There you go. Pretty intense stuff. But say if your bow skills are pretty tragic, just like mine, we also get the Archer's Focus right here, which we hold down. That basically gives us slow motion. You can actually hear like the heartbeat going. And then this is basically where we have more time to actually focus on what we're aiming at, just like these guys right here. Like, the sound effects in slow motion are so sick. But yeah, overall, it's really cool to see like a bow hero as well in these packs. Like, it's very rare that you actually see them, but yeah, definitely a really cool, unique hero that you don't see too often in these hero packs. Which then brings us to the last suit of today's video. And this right here is the Last Stand Spider-Man. And this is another really, really cool Spidey suit. So just like before, if we go ahead and throw this on, we are going to get pretty similar abilities to the Scarlet Spider right there. We still get the really, really cool pose when we hold down shift to actually give us like a little bit of a boost, just like that. And on top of that, all the classic sort of web shooting abilities like we've seen time and time again. But one thing that actually separates this from a lot of the other Spidey suits is the fact that we have tentacles right here. Look how sick these look. Like, these tentacles right here look very, very unique compared to like the Iron Spider ones. Like, these look like they're specifically made for this suit, which is such a cool touch. And even when you're crouching down, you can actually bring these tentacles out as well. It looks really, really cool. Like, that looks like something right out of like a poster. That looks so cool. And these tentacles right here don't actually work like the Doc Ock ones or anything like that, but we can still go ahead and actually punch with them. And as you can see, they will do damage to whatever we're fighting. And on top of using them like that, we can also use them as a full-on shield. Like, it fully embraces the suit, just like blocking in any damage. And you'll see that once we are using this as a shield, we do get the little logo as per usual. And yeah, if you really wanted to, you can actually go full-on web swinging with these claws just out and ready to go. Like, look at that. That is absolutely terrifying. But yeah, I definitely had to showcase these just for the claws or the tentacles alone, because it is such a cool detail. And wouldn't you know it, there's even one more ability, which is the web flail, which we literally just spin around just like Harley Quinn before with a giant ball of webbing and pretty much just taking out whoever's in our way. So that right there is a look at the last Stand Spidey. Again, another really, really sick Spidey suit. It's like pretty much every Spidey suit in this pack is really, really well done. So that right there is going to cut it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And just like I said at the beginning, I hope you found some abilities really, really cool and definitely unique to this pack. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.